All right, everyone. We are actually live. My name is Darciea Houston, better known as Major Melanin, and we are here to talk today about social justice, injustice, food justice, and yeah. So give us a second.
All righty.
I know.
New
So here we
platform.
are with Mr. Jerry Ra as well.
Wait a minute. Turn it up. Keep it up a little bit, son. I had you on the music for me. Turn it
Okay,
back
and
up.
we are live.
We are live. All right.
Yes. Awesomeness. So we're waiting on Emmanuel Wealthy to enter. And I wanted to, I was sending out invites today, and Miss Marguerite, that I've been working with at a whole nother church like a while ago, was like, oh, this is my girl. She's 100. And I was like, oh, okay. So she's going to be joining us on the YouTube side as we are streaming.
All right.
Yes. So, Dallas Ag Women, we are an organization that is here for women and men. I mean, just whole families in general, but we want to make sure that we're helping people grow. And what that means is I can't do anything and everything for you, but I definitely need you to know what you want to do, how you want to execute, and I will guide you along the way, provide you with the resources and things that are needed. We are very small and very personable at this time. So we have that time and that, that space to do so. We are at dallasagwomen.org. We also have an email of dallasagwomen@gmail.com. And so, those are the two places that you can get a hold of us. And our vice president is here with me. His name is Mr. Jerry Robinson. And I also known as Jerry Ra. So I'll give the floor over to him for him to introduce himself. Go ahead, Jerry.
Hey, hello, everybody out there. I'm very new to this. Thank you to our president who helps keep moving myself forward as well as our organization and getting this ag culture message out there. Y'all, if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't know what to be doing on these platforms or whatnot. And I'm very excited about our future and where we're going. But as she said, I am the vice president of Dallas Ag Women here in Dallas, Texas. I am also one of the founders of Freedom to Grow Conference. That's freedomtogrow.us. And if you enjoy and like everything that you hear from Darciea and myself and the work that you see coming out of Texas in general, because we have other great chapters also here, then you don't want to miss this. We have some dynamic speakers, some of which you all hear weekly right here, that will be providing opportunities and solutions to your agricultural needs, whether that is your backyard, your patio, your container garden, or your 5, 10, 15, 500-acre farm. We are going to present an opportunity or solution weekly to you, and definitely at the conference that you can see once every year as we build towards our sustainability and ultimately our food sovereign network.
Yes,
So we
totally
are,
agreed.
I'm
We
so
are the
excited for our guest. I can't wait to hear from her.
right, right. She's still trying to get on.
Yes.
And here she is. I am showing her on the screen. Awesomeness. This is totally our wonderful guest,
Yes.
Mrs. Emmanuel Wealthy of the Emmanuel Wealthy Legacy Foundation. And you all have heard so much about this lady, finally able to put a face to the name. When
Yay!
her name, I thought I was waiting for a man for the tour. I thought Emmanuel, I was gonna wait. I was having this tour at Paul Quinn, and this man was gonna show up, and then I was like, oh wow, we have some ladies. I'll just tour them until this guy gets here. And
Yes.
then she was like, yep, I am the mayor of Wilmer at the time. And
Yes.
yes, I'm so excited to have you as a guest. Please introduce yourself and tell us about your organization.
Okay. I thank you, Miss Darcia. I love you. You have been true since day one. Thank you for this opportunity. I'm Dr. Emmanuel Wealthy. I recently got married, so I'm Dr. Emmanuel Wealthy Mayfield
Oh,
now.
yay.
But it's so good. My organization is Emmanuel Wealthy Legacy Foundation. And I start it. The city of Wilmer is only 13 minutes from downtown Dallas, but it is the home of the Wilminaire, I call it.
Mhm.
But there's quite a bit of warehouses that are in the city of Wilmer, more than department stores and office buildings like that. And so what I did coming into okay Okay, what I did was, as at the time, there's no grocery store. So with the city of Wilmer, even though it's close to downtown and it's still in Dallas County, it's still considered a food desert. We still have to go to Lancaster or Cedar Hill to go to get the closest to get to the closest grocery store like that. So
Wow.
the city of Wilmer and Hutchins is the same way. So what I was able to do was partner with some different organizations to get fresh fruits and vegetables to the city of Wilmer. So I don't just only tailor to the city of Wilmer, but our agency is able to have people who come from everywhere: San Antonio, Mesquite, Arlington. It doesn't matter. You don't have to be low income. You don't have to be skinny, fat, black,
Mhm.
red. You don't have to be a certain denomination. You just get to come. And I've been doing this now for a little over 2 years. And when what we get a chance to do is bring fresh fruit. I call it the market,
Mhm.
because you are able to come through, get watermelon, cantaloupe, collard greens, cabbage, all on the same day. The fruit is always different. I do it every Tuesday and Friday. What I do now, I'm most of the time I'm able to get the fruits and vegetables donated, but I people donate money now to help me get the trucks, and sometimes I even go buy fruit. My popular demographics over here love collard greens, they love onions, they love avocados, they love jalapeno peppers. So sometimes I'll take the donation and go buy that and bring it back. I'll go to Costco and buy. They love nuts. I'll go buy nuts and bring it back. So when you donate, I still get to help feed. And our organization just this past year fed over 40,000 families. Over
Wow.
40,000 families, and they're just able to come through. We're located in Wilmer at 144 East Beltline Road in Wilmer, Texas, right across from the City of Wilmer Library. We're used to one of the oldest church in the city. It's called the First Baptist
Okay. So, one of the cool things that I wanted to share with you all about our
lot.
I'm sorry. We had
No,
some
I'll just say parking lot. Go ahead.
Okay. One of the cool things I wanted to share about my interaction with the former mayor of Wilmer was I saw most of you all know I don't have TV. Now recently we do have a TV. We got a TV. I think it was like maybe 8 months ago. But it's not connected to anything yet. It's still hard for me to want to, sit down and like consume. But I was somewhere and I saw a news. I saw you breaking ground or cutting a ribbon at a
Right.
school. And
Yes.
so this was, I think, like shortly after meeting you. And so
Right.
that's why I gravitated towards that story. But upon meeting you, you were just so blown away. by, the farm and what it had to offer, and
Yes.
instantly gravitating towards the opportunity to feed the community. And
Right.
so she started to do a market in Wilmer. I think it was like right there where the library and stuff
Yes.
is. And I came out, I remember I was selling like clothes and a drink, and
Yes.
I was partnering at that time with the Harvest
Right.
Project and the Oak Cliff Veggie Project.
Right.
And with that said, that is a food rescue. And
Yes.
this is where I believe that Emmanuel Wealthy is a part of a huge food
Right.
justice movement,
Right.
you all,
Yes. Yes.
because there was something so dear and so it turned her off so bad when you get the produce that comes that's supposed to literally like be saved from the landfill. So this food
Yeah.
rescue is here, and to her, in my opinion, based on my daughter was the photographer that day, so
That's
based
right.
on the footage going back, I saw her face. And
Yes.
when she saw the produce and she saw that some of it was molded and it needed to be sorted through,
Yeah.
you knew instantly that she felt like this was not humane.
Yeah.
And the other thing was the community didn't care. They needed to sort through the things because they wanted the things. So
Yeah.
she knew the need was there. She was already doing a market. And now this rescue produce shows up and she finds it like, oh, what I'm not going to do,
Yeah.
what I'm not going to do as a person, if
Yeah.
I'm not going to eat it and I don't feel comfortable about it. And she never said it, y'all, but it's all in her face, right?
Yes.
She instantly created these opportunities for
Yes.
her community to
Right.
have access. And I think it started off with 1 day a week. Am I correct?
That's right. Yeah.
And then she was able to scale up. And every time, I mean,
Yes.
having to do this as a nonprofit, paying for the truck to come and certain people to help and unload, it was
Right.
it was hard work. I
Right.
saw the work.
Yes. Yes.
However, I wanted to talk to you about that day. What was really going through your head when you saw that the mold and all the different things we were going to have to do?
It was hard. You try to get what you need to do at any means necessary. And many people don't know that stores will give you the food that they can't sell. So that's good. But to have the team to be able to sort through that was like, how are we gonna? There was something I never would thought I would be doing. First of all, I was like, I couldn't believe that this is what God would have me to do. But I kept doing, like you said, the research, because I knew God had put me in this position. And you figure out how to make the partnerships, and I would ask you what to do. And we kind of grew collard greens growing up, but I really didn't know everything like that. So I think that day I was just like, I'm here now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna figure it out. This don't look pretty, but we're gonna figure out a way to be able to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that day it was just a shock to my system that, okay, God, I don't know how to do it, but I'm gonna figure it out.
Yes, yes, I believe in that. But that is what made our relationship even stronger. And then she became a gardener. So
Yes.
not only is it's not the effort of saying, okay, I'm gonna do this nonprofit because I'm looking for grants. Even though grants are cool, they help us do many things, and I'm sure that these other organizations have a lot of grants.
Yes.
But I wanted to work with this woman because that was not the number one thing she ever said. She never said, I'm gonna have this organization, we're gonna apply for these grants. And that was not the intention of the heart.
Right.
And that's what sets you apart, or your organization apart, your volunteers apart,
Right.
because that is not the driver.
Right.
Every time I'm talking to other organizations, it's very, very similar on why they're partnering, is because there's some sort of funding available. Now, the money obviously did come.
Yes, yes, yes. I want to say this too. I'm so glad you brought that point up, because people don't understand it. So when I first started doing this, it wasn't a door that opened up. So I would take my rent money, my car note money, whatever money I would be, and I'll pray to God will work the rest. Y'all who done started organizations know what it's like to, bring your own sacrifice. But after a while, I just start asking if people could help me with the $10. We could do a little bit more if we can get the bigger trucks. And I learned how to do a truck. But the thing was, with the grants, I did know a lot of people that were able to get it, and it's hard to see somebody get thousands of grants. But the thing for me was I wanted everybody to get it, because one thing
Uh-oh. We lost her. Oh, there you go.
he's trying to call. Whether you made a lot of money or whether you made a little money or you were on Social Security, you
Uh-oh. I think her
Ask her.
phone went.
I'm about to say, ask her to back up just a little bit.
Okay.
What she
When
was
she
talking
comes
about
back
when she comes
on.
back.
Yeah.
Yes.
But yes, it was such a wonderful experience to learn. Okay, there you go. I was gonna say she's coming in and out.
That's the technical difficulties being on a
Yes.
new platform. We'll have
The
all the
other
kinks
thing is,
worked out. We promise by next week.
right. The other thing is, she just got out of church, and she just got out the pulpit. And so
Oh,
she had
okay.
ran to the car, to be on the call with us today. So we are very grateful for this particular situation. But I wanted to um make sure to be more communicative about how this is a social justice issue, because it is inhumane. Think about it. To sort through moldy food. For one, it's an injustice because the organizations that are holding on to the food until it gets to that point.
Right.
That's number one. Number two, the fact that now you give it away and there is little use for it, because once our families get it, it's already showing that it's about to decay. So the quality of nutrients and things are changing. No different than a grape has different properties than a raisin. After it's gone through that metamorphosis or that decaying process, then it's a different fruit and it's a different animal. And is that anyway unsanitary for us to be sorting tomatoes and things with our own hands, and then how are we washing them knowing you don't really wash tomatoes? You know what I'm saying? So the injustice, the workers that have to be exposed to that, the people that make this, or this has to be their norm. She was able to come through and provide these natural and organic opportunities. And one of the biggest partners that she'll talk about that she has is with Sprouts. And that business partnership means a lot to people who would never be able to get a purple sweet potato, a white sweet potato. They will never be able to I'm not gonna go to the grocery store. I'm not gonna spend my food stamps. I'm not gonna swipe my debit or credit card for no artichoke, and I don't know how to cook it. But if
That's
I
right.
go and spend $10 and get these exotic fruits and vegetables, then now I can experiment with them. Go ahead, Jay.
And also at our different income levels within our communities, we're not always going to be able to shop and spend the same $200 $300 there in a Sprouts or a Whole Foods, as they call Whole Paycheck, that we would in our Save a Lot, our Krogers, our Winn-Dixie's, our Winco's down here.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to look at that as food injustice as well.
Right.
I was listening to another podcast where they were talking about, there are 50 chemicals that are banned in all of Europe that are allowed here in our foods for us to eat and consume. So if you pick up the same bag of, let's just say, Lay's potato chips here, they're not going to have the same ingredients as the ones in Europe. So we're talking about a massive level of food injustice going on in this country that we have to be aware of, besides of the so-called forced food shortages.
Right. I didn't even think of it that way. In addition to what I learned by being on the the Denton Black Film Festival social injustice conversation panel, um,
Mm-hmm.
to think about the workers on the other end of the things that we demand. is a huge part of injustice that Miss Rhonda was talking about with Coy and myself. Just thinking about how neglected, how overworked, anything that's in demand, how much does that actually apply pressure to the industry to produce those things? And then what do they have to do to make sure that we have them? So at the same time, I'm up here trying to eat natural, organic, healthy. I'm going to Sprouts and Whole Paycheck, Whole Foods, all of that. And I got to have an avocado every day. But somebody's hurting behind me needing this avocado every day.
And we don't think that far. We don't think that to the next level within our food chain. And we're taught, it is designed that way. We are taught that. So what we do here, you all here at Dallas Ag Women, is we raise your consciousness, not of just the food you're putting in your mouth, but all the way back to that worker who brought that avocado to your table.
And then even down to the social injustice of trying to negotiate a price when you're at market. When somebody's setting their price, it's because that is how much it's going to take for them to actually produce and be at the table. Here we have Emmanuel Wealthy.
She's back.
Yay!
All the way back in black.
Yes.
Yeah. So we were just talking about our demand, like, me demanding certain things. I want avocado, so I'm gonna go find me avocado today, or I'm gonna go to a restaurant that has it. Yeah. And those things are an injustice. But we want to definitely continue in your lane with how you are not only, we called it the market, but I pulled up the other day, y'all, and it wasn't that she just had fresh fruits and vegetables. She also had, there was an air fryer there. There was a whole case of hand sanitizers. I mean, I think I even saw elderly diapers there at the same time. So can you elaborate a little more about what your organization has been able to do?
So it's kind of like when you've been faithful to something, the Bible says it's like faithful a few things, God will make you ruler over many things. And so by doing it faithfully, because we'll do it, the rain, snow, anything, people will begin to donate to us. So I have gotten a chance to give everything away, from bicycles to condoms to Nair hair shaving cream. And that's really, there's no store out there like that being able to do it. We have a Family Dollar and a Dollar General, but if they give it like that, I just try to give it to the people so people will see, hey, can you give this? Can you give that? I was saying earlier about the grant part. I didn't really, when you do grants, sometimes it limits you to who you can serve, where you can serve, certain zip codes. You can only help poor people, but it's not only poor people that want a tomato or, lettuce or cabbage, sweet potato. So for me, I didn't take certain grants because I didn't want to limit, or I didn't want to ask you your whole financial background. Not saying that I never will. I just, at this point, people ask me all the time, if you wouldn't have to take donations if you did that. But many of them that ask, they want to limit who you can do, how you can do. And I didn't want to do it like that.
And see, look at that. Look at that impact. You know that there are limitations, and until you have to move that way, why not put it in the power of the people? This is what you've already evaluated, what they really, really like, what they're asking for, what the community has access to. You have that knowledge, and you're able to ask them for input, which is why I think your organization is very successful.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Another thing that was really, I wonder on a regular basis. I see what you're doing. I see the legwork. I see the volunteers. And there's a lot of consistency with your volunteers. There's some faces I know now, based on that. And I'm trying to wonder, I'm working with bigger organizations and, think people that have way more resources than you had. Like you said, you digging in your own pocket for the people. But how is it, not saying that you have the answer, this is the question from Darciea to the world. How is it that any institution can have all the parking in the world, can have all of the buildings, restrooms, commercial kitchens, have all of the members, associations, whatever it is. It's real, real big.
Right.
And they have to move so consciously, so small. And that really bugs me. And that is why I will always drive my tail from Maybank or from Grand Prairie to come
Yes.
to Wilmer for that
Yes.
purpose, because the work is being done here.
Yes.
So if
Yes.
anybody's on this call and you have an idea or want to invest in this particular type of movement, because this is a movement. This
Right.
is
That's
like a
right. That's
revolutionary
right.
movement.
Right.
This is not the check
That's
the
right.
box. We got our grant, we got
Right.
this, we got
Right.
that, and I have to do this. No, this is like, okay, my people, they need all these things, so I'm gonna go to Costco's and I'm gonna go get some nuts.
Yes. 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 I believe that this is going to be a season of partnerships to help you do, because sometimes it is that 2 fish and 5 loaves of bread. It is that starting out, it is, some people will come and help for one season and they may not be able to help for the next season. And you have to be able to adjust to the partnerships changing. You sometimes think that that person is going to be with you for the long haul, or that company or whatever organization. And it doesn't always have to do it. And people say to me all the time, why don't bigger churches do it? Why don't this? And I say this one answer: you can only do what you have vision for. Many,
Mm.
many people
Say
have.
that again,
You can
please.
only do what you have vision for. You can't do what I've had people try to do what I do, and they do it for a minute, but they won't be able to do it long. And you don't get mad at it, because if you try to do what I do because you've got this, it may not work well for you. So
Well, George Washington Carver said, "Where there is no vision, the
yeah,
people will perish."
that's right. That's right. That's
That's a
right.
bit. That's in the
That's right.
Bible too,
That
right?
is.
Oh, okay.
That
I'm
is.
just asking.
That
I'm
is.
just, I
That
got
is.
that
And let
background,
me
so
let me let me
just
let me
asking.
say that. Let me say that too. When people think about running for office or think about like that, and you think, can I run? Can I qualify to run? That would be, I tell everybody, that will be your push to go back. When you got vision, you go for it. I really pray to be able to build a market, but sometimes if you got vision, that'll be all the willpower you'll need. The money will come, the connections, the network will come, but that
Yeah.
vision, being clear on that. But I never get mad at no other organization or church that's not doing what I'm doing, because you can't do what I do without vision. If that's not the vision God gave you, go somewhere and sit down. Yeah.
Yes, I so appreciate that message. That's what I will definitely coin and take away from this, because there is a vision. When you came out, I mean, not to say everybody's got to know exactly how to lay it out, like, oh,
Right.
X, Y, and Z,
Right.
but just I want to be in this space. And
Right.
so much so, it wasn't just that she started the organization and was able to help change some things for self. She went ahead and started a garden too. And so it was the idea that this woman wants to learn so much more about what it is that's going on. And now an influence, as she used her influence as the mayor to do some cool things. And it's a very small space. I was very surprised that of
So
Wilmer.
I think I started out. We was giving away the food. We were giving away the food. We asked people to still donate, and people said, "Well, you're charging us," and it's really not that. It's just us really finding a way to come together. I'll get this part if you do that part. If you do that part, I'll do this part. And if I always say, if I got a lot of that food, you'll get a lot. If I got a little of that, you'll get a lot. And so I tend to just try to do this, be able to give it out that way. But we were doing the garden, and then now we're doing, because the animals weren't eating healthy, right? So people were processed food so some of the molded food now, Ms. Darciea, I'm able to reach out to people who have hogs and pigs and chickens. So I'm
Nice.
not wasting anything. When you talk about food rescue, I'm
That's
not wasting
sustainability.
anything. Is we give it to people so I can make sure their animals are eating right. If they got chickens, and so my husband and I, we just recently got some chicken hens and roosters that we are feeding the lettuce, and we are feeding the cabbage and stuff like that. So our animals are eating healthy too.
That is super, super amazing.
Yeah.
So Mayor, it sounds like this has been maybe life changing, or even you spiraling up to another level. Can you speak to how life changing that this process has been for you?
Yes. So I have been my entire adult life, 18, my entire adult life, I have been a pastor, apostle, preacher. My, my, my entire adult life. That's what I've done. I've done some other things on the side, but really my vision and goal had just been that, to get as many people saved and loving Jesus, until 2018, when my pulpit changed to government. Okay.
Mm.
So it was there that
What do
I'm
you mean
not
by
that
that, real quick? I'm
my
sorry. What do you
pulpit
mean when you
changed.
say your pulpit changed the government? What do you mean?
So my pulpit had always been in the sanctuary or on TV or on the streets, preaching the gospel of Jesus Christ, how to be saved,
Right.
how to be filled with the Holy Ghost, how to see miracles. That was, you can't outpray me. but when so then I began to look at the six people that were in the government office, the mayor, the council people that were in office, and for me, they didn't look like me.
They didn't.
Okay.
They
Not
didn't.
talk like me. They
Okay.
didn't have children the same age I had children.
Mm-hmm.
And so I felt like there was no one on there that represented my needs,
Mm-hmm.
that could
Okay.
speak to what I was going to need.
Mm-hmm.
And so I did the garden, but there was no back to school, so all of our kids didn't have nobody giving no school supplies like that. So I started meeting the needs. Whenever you can solve a problem,
Yes.
will always make sure you come out on top. When
Yeah.
the money will come, the connections will come, the resources will come. You just need to wait on it. So I started doing that. I was like, my kid, every other city was getting school supplies, but our city was not. Our
Mm-hmm.
every other city was getting certain things that our city was not. And so I was like, who's fighting for us? Who's fighting for kids that was our age? And so that's where I really started, um, just making sure that it was coming this way for our area. And when I did that, so you asked me about the pulpit, well,
Life changing. Yeah. Pulpit to
it
government. I said
shifted
life
in
changing.
there. And so I start praying now for our government. I start praying now for our taxes. That's what I mean by things that I was praying for, souls and healing and miracles and deliverance. Now I'm praying for our budget for the city. I'm praying now for, Lord, give us wisdom and what to do and what streets and what roads to build and just things like that. So you're praying on a different level now. You're praying for your commissioner. You're praying now for your things like
Mm.
that. And now you're not just praying in general. You're praying specifically because you know them by name now,
Right. With
right?
intention, yes.
So even just with that, certain things I began to plan. I still kept true to what I believe God said. So there were different things we did as Christians. I bought the pastors. There's 7 churches in the city, and us pastors start doing these things together. So some of
Wow.
what I did in the market is they couldn't do what I did, but they had their own way in partnering with me.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
I I have another question.
Okay.
Uh, Saying that you brought were able to bring other churches together.
Yes.
What is your stance? Your church's stance around this new crop coming with cannabis, whether it be on the hemp side or the THC side. Can you speak to that at all?
Oh, I don't look.
Because
Don't start nothing. Don't start nothing.
well, look, I'm just gonna bring up. I listened to Pastor Brian, and I know he's a big personality.
Yes.
I just thought it was kind of ingenious seeing that many churches of our churches own land.
Yes.
And yes, we are building retirement homes for our seniors within our
Yes.
churches.
Yes.
And yes, that's really the only thing I ever really hear. But now you're going back to agriculture, and you're
Yes.
saying, well, I need to capture these young people, and where are these young people's heads at? So that's why I could appreciate when he said we're gonna start growing this marijuana ourselves too. So that's why I'm like, well, what's the consensus? Do you know of that, or
I
can you
I
tell?
know. I've heard in part. I've heard
Mhm.
in
Okay,
part. But I
Yeah.
will say this, that every church with land needs to be growing something. Let me start. Don't listen to the whole thing.
Okay.
Let's listen to the whole thing. Every church needs to be growing land. Yes. And where we're going right now, our church too, we're doing, getting ready to do the same thing. Other communities businesses will partner with us in this event. But you see in the grocery store right now.
Yeah.
Yes, it may profit you, but if you have all that land and then you cannot feed your people, the Bible said like this: bring you all the tithes that they may meet my house, the storehouse, so people can come and eat in my house. That may profit you the money, but you're supposed to be able to take care of the people. And I really believe people because church is never going to be the same like it was before COVID.
Right.
Never. And I've been a pastor my entire adult life, but it's never going to be the same. So I get trying to see, well, God, how are you shaping church now? But meeting the needs of the people. And if you get to see Joseph, he saw that this is not nothing new. He saw something was happening, and he began to grow the food, cultivate the food, preserve the food. And that right now, if we're looking for how we're supposed to do it, we're supposed to be like Joseph. We're supposed to be growing it right now. Because the lean time it's not coming, it's came.
It's here.
It's here. Is here, and our answer is we need to grow, and we want to feel like we're not farmers. But Noah was not a farmer before he started building the boat either. The Bible says he became one after the storm. He became, and this is the time. But pastors, we're gonna become something new because of what God needs, and it's not gonna be cannabis growers on the property of God. It might be a good idea, but I promise you, it's not a God idea. It might bring you the money you need. It might bring you the young people you need, but then you got some other spirits that's gonna come with it. But I feel like the answer for it right now is to become our own store, become our own enterprise. Use your land. That they're gonna have to give you taxes for the land on what you grow. So that's all I gotta say.
Agree.
Yes, that's totally understood. And then, it's not so much just about growing, because it's really more about water access to be able to grow too.
Yes.
And then people to have to, guide people, towards the land, use their influence, use their power, to be able to change their mind. Because I'm sure, that everybody's not going to, take everything. If they feel like it's something that they, at your market, they don't really know, they're really not going to, deal with it. And that thing might be that medicine that they need, or it might be a really good option in something, but they're not going to want to grow or eat anything that is beneficial unless they've been able to try it and know that it's beneficial to the body. So there's an education component, I think, that's really imperative for the churches and, moving forward, because if we don't have that knowledge and we can't push that knowledge and we don't have water access, we're going to just be like, what, growing cactuses? Or, water or drought, tolerant crops. But we need the opportunity to have this water. And we had a water talk not too long ago and learned how toxic our water is.
Right.
So, those things go hand in hand, and those things I think need some education when we start building out with any kind of organization, so that we're successful immediately. Having the foods that we know the people want to have, and educating them on the ones that we have to grow to make the land, do better.
Let me say that water. I was with the day you're talking about when we were doing the groundbreaking.
Yes.
Right. 2018, Wilmer got its first school in over 17 years. Right. It didn't have a school, so it got is first school. It got its first stoplight. In 2019, we got our first stoplight, right? But on the groundbreaking, the day in 2018, Commissioner John Riley Price was standing there. Commissioner, right? He was standing there, and he was talking about what he was doing, and he was glad that the school was being built. But he was talking about how other things was getting ready to come. But before they could come, he had to start working with the water, right? So
Mhm.
Wilmer didn't have a lot of things because it burned down. We did not have the
Oh,
water or the water pressure. So when you hear things like we don't have the grocery store, they did years ago, but it burned down because it didn't have the water pressure
wow.
to do certain things. So before he could start building, he had to start getting the water lines in first, right? He started had to build the infrastructure to
Mhm.
get the water in. Now certain things are coming. But one of the things he said is he said, I never thought I or dreamed that I would be in the water industry,
Wow.
that I would be associated with having to get water in. He did when he was thinking about vision, he was never thinking about he would have to worry about this part.
Yeah.
And there's things that pastors and other organizations you're going to see yourself in that you never thought you'd
Mhm.
be in, but it's going to help you lay the groundwork. And I find that if God gave you a vision for something, something else will come along to help you have the part you don't have. You were talking about having the water,
Mhm.
right? That you don't have the water, but there was a period of time that we were growing different things for this. We were trying to do something for the school, and the Niagara Water Company.
Mhm.
Mm.
We had to be creative. We had to be innovative, and the Niagara Water was like, well, if you want to grow this, we'll do this, and we'll get you this amount. Every other month, we'll get you pallets of water for this.
Mhm.
We started doing that. We started reaching out to other water bottle companies. Like, we don't know how else to do it, and you'll just eventually. But some people dare to step out because they don't feel like they have all the pieces. But if you,
Got you.
yeah, you'll get.
I have one more question. Can you give us some of the do's and don'ts? And then, how can if people want to get involved in the community and feed in the community and the people, just give us some do's and don'ts in that, as well as from, a church aspect, food justice aspect.
Uh, I would say after doing this for a couple of years now, churches have tried to do this, and for a season we were getting help from the government. They were
Mhm.
coming in with great influxes of support and help. But I would say, one, be ready for when how your source will change. Know
Mhm.
know that God is always your source, but how the resource
Mhm.
that He'll send you, just be okay to the change. We normally fall apart at the change, but it's okay.
that part,
Change
yes.
is inevitable, and if you're gonna be great, you got to just embrace yourself for the change. I would say, for when you're doing it on a volunteer basis, um Darcia said she then got used to seeing certain faces. I got some women
Mhm.
that are out there faithful no matter what. But
Right.
we start off with a big team. Everybody want to help at first, but then it start raining or cold or doctor appointments or whatever it is. You have volunteers fall off. So I would say to churches, it's okay to they'll start off wanting to do it the whole year. I'll say do it in the beautiful time,
Mhm.
and don't always have to do it every week.
Mhm.
Then that way you get people to participate and build up. If you're a church, that is a great way to reach out to your community. I say that there are companies in your area that will donate stuff to you if you're a nonprofit organization, or if you don't even have to be nonprofit, some companies will help you simply because you're helping the community.
Mhm.
So if you're a church and you're trying to do something, if there was ever one rule, don't be in a church and the 10 major companies don't know you're there.
Got you.
Don't do church, or don't, if you're a nonprofit, let the companies know what you're doing, whether they
Mhm.
decide to give you or not. Put your name out there. Let the mayor know what you're doing. Write the mayor letter. They got to read that mail.
Okay.
That's a great point.
Right.
Repeat that, please,
Let
so
the mayor
everybody can hear that.
let the mayor, let the city administrator, let the police chief know let them know the name of your church, what you do. Uh,
Mhm.
because I say that many times, when people get a ticket in your city, and Wilmer unfortunately is known for the ticket, but if
Yeah.
they get a ticket in your city, if they know what you do, they will send people to do community service with your organization, with your church or whatever. But they'll eventually reach back out to you.
Awesomeness. That is great advice. This has been a wonderful, wonderful, enlightening talk. And I wanted to see if you could talk to us more about how to get involved and what it looks like to participate in your organization.
I do it every Tuesday and Friday. At 12 o'clock is when we normally start, depending if we don't have to send the truck back more than once.
Mhm.
For me, you do well if you just come.
Mhm.
Because for me, I give away so much food, I can almost promise you if you come 4 times back to back, I'll cut your grocery budget in half.
Mhm.
Ooh,
Mhm.
that grocery
So
budget in hand.
I can almost promise you that I can give you so much food, you'll be like, no, thank you, no, thank you. I don't need no more of this. Miss Darcia said the other day, I don't need no more beats. That's
Mhm.
music to my ears. That's music to my ears when people say, you didn't gave me so much this, you don't hear that too much. I got too much of this. And so I live
Yeah.
for that statement. I don't need no more berries. I don't need no more lettuce. I don't need no more watermelon. And
Mhm.
so for me, if you come through, that helps me. And I tell you, on a personal note, I love to see brown people come through,
Mhm.
African people come through, black people come through. I want you to eat healthy. Some of the food that I give, it will help cure many of the things that we are diagnosed with, that we have.
Yes, it will.
The beets kill diabetes. Your liver, the lemons will help cleanse your system out. So I really want to say that you coming through, that helps. Even if you can't stay and help me unload something, the second thing, you can always help me clean up. I do a 100% volunteers at this time. So if you said, hey, it's after 12, what can I do? We have to clean up and stuff like that. You can come help clean up. But if you want to just Cash App or Zelle us, that donation helps us to continue in that as well. But if you can come help, set up, clean up, give out,
Mhm.
that helps. But more than anything, just come through, see
Mhm.
about it, go tell somebody else about it. If you see
Mhm.
the post, share it, because people don't know about it. So that would be wonderful.
So what I appreciate is when you do have, you're getting to the point, the weather might be bad, or, you just have maybe too much of stuff, that I have the ability to get it off. And
Yes.
one of the coolest things about the beats, which is why this is a full circle conversation, I'll let Jerry chime in on it in just a second. But a lot of the beats went to Jerry because his wife is suffering from cancer as we speak.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I get the greens and I get the things that I know are beneficial, he's one of the first recipients in Richardson, Texas,
Wow.
because of that situation.
Wow.
Just needing my business partner's
Yeah.
wife to be at ultimate health.
Right. Right.
Then number two, I also load up the truck. It cost me around $45 to load to put gas in my truck, but I come that way, I load it up, and I stop at spaces that will never be able to come to your location at all because they will never get off work. They are working 6 to 7 days a
Yeah.
week on the
Yeah.
same shift
Yeah.
and
Mm.
have been for years. They
Yes.
know me when I pull up. So
Yes.
I stop first at Paul Quinn College and feed buildings and grounds and their security
Wow.
every time. Then
Wow.
I go up to the Ingram brothers, give out at the gas station, make sure their attendants
Oh,
at
that's,
the gas station have everything they need. And I move on down to other gas stations, end up in Grand Prairie, where I will stop at the laundromat.
okay.
And there for all the laundromat attendants, and then the people that are there washing clothes. So
Right.
the babies, you gave out some very sweet oranges. I
Yes.
went in there was a whole bunch of kids running around. I was like, Mommy, can I give your babies, these?
Yes.
Like, oh, yes, yes. Your
Yes.
produce from me has gone as far as Louisville.
Wow. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it is a and
Yeah.
I've regrown most of
Yes.
what you did.
That's what I
You give
love.
me that can be
Yes.
regrown. I've regrown it.
Yes.
And the reason I can't take no more beets, I done made beet jam, beet pie,
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
beet, everything. I done did
Yes.
so much with beets. I
Yes.
don't even know what else to do
Yes.
until next season. But I
Yes.
do have so many beet greens growing. And
Wow.
anybody that starts a new garden with me, they're
Yes.
always like, I got something coming up and I don't know what it is. I don't remember planting this. And girl, don't you remember I told you I was gonna put these beets and these sweet potatoes in the ground?
Yes.
And so they have all
Yes.
these extra
Yes.
crops. So
Yes.
it's a very great process that everybody's eating, people are healing. There's reciprocation of people understanding that donation is imperative to the program, and the animals are eating.
I want to say this. As my term as mayor, when COVID first hit, one of my hardest decisions I had to make was to say no one could go to church, that there'll be no more than 50 people in church. Me being a pastor, I knew how that would affect a lot of the churches in my city. But once we had, when we met and we had to make that decision to protect at that time, I did not want to make that decision, but we did. But I made that decision at 12. It was official, and anybody breaking that decision was going to be in violation. Okay. That taught me something about even the significance of what we do is grow, how we grow, why we need to grow. I say everybody growing something, whether it's in the yard, in your kitchen window, on your patio, you need to be growing something, because they can make one decision at 12. And you will not have time to get ready. You will have
In
to
the
be
blinking
ready.
of an eye.
You have to be ready. You will have to stay ready, because you won't have time to get ready.
Wow.
So growing. So when I give out the food, I'm being Joseph. I'm being Noah right now. I'm telling you that a time is coming that you're gonna need to already have this. I do non-perishable items too. So some people say, well, I don't eat this, and I don't look. Just have it right now. Just have it right now to December 31st. If you don't need it December 31st, then let it go. But most of the people in our city, I was like, just save it. And then that way, if anything happens, because like right now, a can of salmon, salmon in a can in the Family Dollar, which was once 79 cents, 95 cents, $1.25, is now $4.95 for one can.
That's
But we
right.
give it away, like 3 cans at a time. So, that's why I say cut your budget in half. We're going to be doing sanitizer and stuff like that, because I want you to be protected. But if a decision is made that you can't go into these stores, Walmart is closing 145 stores this year. Target is
Did
closing
y'all know that?
225 stores this year. Stores that you used to could buy stock in are closing this year. The rest of them can just shut down. But you know what? They'll close the store but still own the land.
That's
So
right.
say to you, take your piece of land God gave you, take this fruit and vegetables, put it in a cup of water, and it will begin to do what it do. So that's all I can just say is, so no decision is made that causes your family to suffer.
That is amazing information, because what I do know as research, as an undergrad at Paul Quinn, and continued with environmental racism as a exchange student with environmental Nicholas School of Environment at Duke. There, I didn't understand the environmental racism that came apart with Walmart. Right. When they come, our cities and states and government, they give them the power to say that you will not be able to do anything else on this land, around this land, in competition of what was here. And the thing that speaks the loudest to me is in Grand Prairie, off of Great Southwest, and Pioneer. There's an Asian mart there that used to be a Walmart. But for years it sat vacant, and we couldn't understand why. And it was like almost 15 years.
Yes.
And so this was it all clicked when I was in this environmental racism class, because, how dare you take up land, and then now we can't reutilize it to feed our people anymore. You decided there was a need enough to come here. And then now when you pull away, I can't do nothing.
That's right. That's right. That's right. They plan for the future. They plan for the future. The city of Duncanville had the same situation where Walmart had closed. They were having a lot of robberies going. I mean, not a lot of people stealing. Staff was stealing. They closed, but they had an agreement for 100 years.
Ooh,
100 years.
Yeah, here it is.
They are thinking 100 years ahead. we own this land, we got this land, but it was closed down. And so, most businesses want to be around Walmart, because if you're going to Walmart, you can come over there. So
Right.
it affected the surrounding businesses, that they were no longer over there, weren't getting the traffic over there, because people aren't running over to Walmart now, can pay their bill at T-Mobile or this other little mom and pop store. So that's why I say to us, that's why I sell everything. That's why I do the market has everything. We were doing deodorant, toothpaste, mouthwash. I'm trying to store us up. Mm-hmm. Now, I talked about how the pulpit changed. I'm still trying to get us to be the storehouse. We're at the church. The church is the storehouse where you can come and get what you need. Yeah. And now I'm just standing on the back of an 18-wheeler, my husband and we are still preaching that this is how God is saying store up. This is how God is saying save up, to regrow, learn to regrow. So no one can ever put you out again.
Yes. Yeah. This has been very amazing and enlightening. I'm going to look on the chat to see if we have anything else. If you can go ahead and give us any kind of points or anything, Jerry, you would like to come up with?
Yeah. I just would like her to give her address on Tuesdays and Fridays. She said if she'll give that address out again, please.
Yes. And this Tuesday, we'll be out there again at 12 o'clock at 144 East Beltline Road. 144 East Beltline Road in Wilmer, Texas, 75172, in the parking lot of the First Baptist Church. Inside of the First Baptist Church, too. It might be a little overcast on Tuesday, but we're having a sweet potato pie contest, ladies and gentlemen. The people who got the potatoes from last week are going to be bringing their sweet potato pie or casserole. I'm doing whatever I can to encourage you to go back to cooking and growing and doing whatever you got to do. And whoever wins the sweet potato pie contest is going to win $100.
They are incentivized. Oh my goodness!
Judges out there that have their own food truck. They're going to be judging along with myself. I'm going to taste the pie and the casserole, and the winner will win.
Be a judge.
But you're able to come through, and we're going to have so much out there. It's 144 East Beltline Road, Wilmer, Texas, 75172, right across the street from the Wilmer Library.
Awesome.
All right. Anybody needs to get a hold of you. How do they do that? Are you on social media? Do you have church virtually and
I'm on Facebook? I'm on Instagram. But I'm always standing on the side of the road on Tuesday and Friday. Holla if you hear.
Come in person. That's what I'm saying. We're gonna do something. Pull up. Yeah, you ain't got to call. You ain't got the email. Just pull up.
Pull up. Right.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for your time. Any closing remarks, young lady?
No, I thank you for this opportunity. I'm so glad to be a part of what Miss Darciea is doing, that she didn't quit either. I think I was just so encouraged to see what I just think that when you look up the Unstoppable, you will see Miss Darcia's face over there, because she is the new Kim Possible over there doing it. And I just am thankful for this opportunity. I'm so glad to hear. I was on the week before, I think, and you guys were talking about the market, and I didn't even know this world existed, right? I'm thinking I'm all out there by myself. And so I'm glad to hear about this that's going on, and y'all just come see us, grab your donation, and let's just keep doing this together. We'll build one another. I'm thankful.
Awesomeness. Well, I'll see you Friday. I'll see you Tuesday, and Friday and Tuesday. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Jerry, you want to close us out?
Yeah, please put the information in the chat. Is what's being requested. And once again, I want to thank everybody for coming out and spending 1 hour with us. We are the movement. You can catch us every week right here, same time, same place. DallasAgWomen.org is where you will find Miss Darciea being her best and doing her best work.
Yes.
Like what you heard today. If you heard what the prophetic Mayor of Wilmer, I still call her the mayor.
Right. I'm sorry to the new one.
Yes, I got to stay with this black divine feminine energy, y'all. But if you like what you heard, I can almost say you will hear her again at the Freedom to Grow conference, October the 2nd through the 7th in Atlanta, Georgia. Y'all, we are coming together for something spectacular,
Wow.
something that has never been done in agriculture before. This is not your regular come listen presentation. This is solution and opportunities oriented. And if you heard today, you heard solutions and
Yes.
you heard opportunities
Yes.
right here with the mayor.
Yes.
Please go out www.freedomtogrow.us, freedomtogrow.us, and
Yes.
we'll see you next week.
Awesomeness. I'm getting ready to right now add our org's information. I added Mayor Wealthy's she says Emmanuel Wealthy on IG and Facebook. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And the other thing being, can you give me that address one more time?
Sure. 144
Mm-hmm.
East Beltline Road, Wilmer, Texas 75172. The First
All
Baptist.
right. I'm putting that in the chat for our YouTube people. 75241. I mean, no,
No,
that's
75172.
172. All righty. That is coming in the chat for you all. Please copy and paste that. Give you a few minutes to do so. And yeah, please eat better, eat healthier. A lot of you on this call have already tasted this produce because I've given it to you.
Yay.
So go and support and very, very clean operation. The setup is great. So when you pull up, just be mindful that other people are loading up and just be a little patient.
Yep.
And jump on in there. Thank you so much, Dallas Ag Women. Toodles. So, end stream.